The North American Free Trade Agreement was created in 1992 and signed in 1994 by Mexico, Canada, and America in order to immediately lift tariff restrictions on products between the three different nations. But what's happening now? Could we be looking at a new free trade agreement in the future? Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, it's Suran in China. How y'all doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic day. It's a lovely sunny day here in Shenzhen, and I saw something on the news that I wanted to talk with you about and propose a hypothetical what if situation. This is not something that's going to happen, but could it happen? Could this new decision by Donald Trump lead to a new free trade agreement? Let's talk about it. But before we do, let's talk about an amazing VPN that I'm using on all of my devices. When it comes to internet security and getting around geo-blocking, for example, if you happen to be in China, there's really no better VPN service out there than SimpleLink. It's cost effective, it has so many different payment and usage options, and best of all, if you're already in China, you can pay with Alipay or WeChat Pay, which is incredibly convenient. If you're interested in more information, there is a link in the description. I encourage you to have a look. Another great way to support the channel and help me to hit my 10,000 subscriber goal is to hit that subscribe button below and throw me a thumbs up on this video if you are enjoying this content. This really helps the YouTube algorithm to find my videos and share them with more people. Now, let's talk about NAFTA. Or should I say KNAFTA? Now, NAFTA, as it's known in its short version, stands for the North American Free Trade Agreement. This agreement was drawn up in 1992 and signed, but didn't go into effect until 1994. The main premise of this agreement was to create a free trade zone in North America between Mexico, America, and Canada, meaning that this would immediately eliminate all tariffs on products being sold in between those three companies. Now, this was a fantastic deal, or so it seemed at the time, but in fact, it very heavily favored America. And really, the short end of the stick was gotten by both Mexico and Canada, especially the end users and the producers of certain products. But overall, it did solve a lot of the problems with the rampant trade wars and tariff fighting that was going on between the three nations. However, as we have heard very recently from Mr. Donald Trump, one of his primary goals, one of his first things he's going to do when he gets into power next year is he is going to, or so he says, impose a 25% tariff on all products from Canada and Mexico. These are members of the NAFTA agreement. There should be no tariffs on our products. So, in essence, Donald Trump is saying he is going to break the North American Free Trade Agreement by introducing these massive tariffs on every product coming from these countries. Now, this is huge in so many different ways because not only are Canada and Mexico the biggest trading partners of America at the moment, but so many products that Americans actually use and need are coming from Canada and Mexico. Agriculture products, energy products, manufacturing products. In fact, 60 to 70% of Canada's exports are specifically bound for America. So that means 60 to 70% of the products being sent to America from Canada are going to have a 25% tax increase. Now, once again, this doesn't mean Canada is going to pay the tax increase. Americans, you are. That's the way tariffs work. The price of the items for the end users, the end manufacturers, is going to go up by 25%. Now, this will, of course, damage the Canadian population dramatically as well, as there will be far less sales and far more costs associated with doing business with our largest trading partner. So, and this comes into play in so many disastrous ways that a lot of people just simply don't understand or choose not to understand. Let's look at the auto industry, for example. A lot of the cars that are sold in America are actually assembled in Canada. But not all the parts come from Canada. So the engine may come from America and need to be shipped to Canada to be put into those cars. The transmission may be coming from Mexico. The chassis may be coming from a different part of America, etc. So all of these parts will need to be shipped to Canada before they can be assembled into a vehicle. Now, all of those parts being shipped into Canada will be subject to that 25% tariff. So the price on that vehicle just went up. Then, after it has been assembled in Canada, it is going to need to be shipped back to America. And once again, those tariffs are going to affect that price again as well. So the prices could be going up several times. For example, if that transmission is sent to a warehouse in America first, there's going to be 25% added. And then that transmission is sent from America to Canada, another 25% is going to be added. And then that fully assembled automobile is going to be sent back to America. We're looking at another 25% tariffs. So these tariffs are much more than just one single 25% increase. It could be outrageous how much more it's going to cost to buy that same car than it did before this outrageous 25% increase on all products. So other products, for example, that come from Canada are oil, steel, aluminum, products like that, that American industries need in order to operate. Agriculture products, wheat, grains, and other products of that nature are also vital to the American economy. And a large portion of that comes from Canada. Fruits, vegetables, other products from Mexico, again, will be introduced to this massive 25% tariff. So Americans across the board are going to end up paying more money for everything in their everyday lives. And we haven't even gotten to China yet. Now, again, China is a part of this latest threat by Donald Trump. Whereas he is talking about increasing tariffs on his own allies and trading partners by 25%, he is also talking about adding a 10% tariff on top of all existing tariffs for every product coming from China. So once again, all the small little things that you wouldn't really think about, those day-to-day items that don't come from Canada and don't come from Mexico, are also going to be affected by these tariffs. What this is going to do is it is going to dramatically increase pricing on everything in America. It is absolutely crazy. In the case of China, there's simply no way that Americans can avoid buying Chinese products. So much of the manufacturing power of America has already shifted to China, and I guarantee you is not coming back anytime soon, even with the tariffs and even with the promises of Donald Trump. But when it comes to hurting his own trading partners like Canada and Mexico, he is really creating a situation where I could honestly see in the future China, Mexico, and Canada creating their own free trade agreement. Now, if America wants to create this incredible tax war between its own allies and China, which is still one of its biggest trading partners as well, what's to stop those three nations from creating their own free trade agreement? NAFTA, as I like to call it, the China North America Free Trade Agreement. Now, they could very easily create their own agreement where Canada would start shipping its oil and its steel and its agriculture products to a much, much larger consumer market in China, and the same with Mexico without any tariffs at all. And in return, China would remove tariffs from products coming from those countries as well, which would be beneficial to all three sides. The only real loser in that situation would be America for two reasons. Not only would they lose a huge amount of the imported products that they rely on a daily basis, but it would give China a strategic economic location on either side of America, to the north and to the south. If China has a friendship agreement with Canada and with Mexico, doesn't that make them a lot more dangerous to America in the long run? I don't know. It seems to me that this is something that could very well be possible in the future if Donald Trump does really go through with this incredibly foolish tariff plan, which not only penalizes his own trading partners, but literally breaks the existing North America Free Trade Agreement. I think it would be foolish, it would be stupid, and would open the door for China to open its own free trade agreement with North America. Well, with Canada and Mexico anyway. So, what do you think? Do you think it's possible that China, Mexico, and Canada might start their own free trade agreement, considering that Donald Trump is talking about breaking the existing agreement and unfairly and foolishly imposing cross the line tariffs on every product entering America from Canada and Mexico? I don't know if it's really going to happen. This is more of a hypothetical question, but I could honestly see it as a possibility. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be very curious to see what your input is on this. And as always, if you have any suggestions or ideas, I'd love to hear about them. But until next time, 再见.